Today we're doing a walking tour in New York City, Manhattan. So we're starting on the east side of Midtown Manhattan, the East River. This is the 59th Street Bridge, and we're going to be walking west across town, 51st Street. So from the east side, we'll just walk straight across. All right, so here we are. This is called Beekman Place. It's a nice, quiet, beautiful neighborhood on the east side. It's next to Sutton Place. In Midtown, in the upper 50s, there's Sutton Place. The lower 50s, there's Beekman Place. And in the 40s, there's Tudor City Place. So we're walking across 51st Street, like I said. So this is before First Avenue, before we even get to First Avenue. And you could see that it snowed 3 days ago. This is actually part 1. There's also part 2 on this video. So it's 1 week before Christmas, Hanukkah, Kwanzaa holiday, and it snowed. So I thought it would be a nice time to get video of the snow. Not only that, it's the COVID-19 lockdown area. So that is the main reason why I'm doing these videos, is to document this very special occasion when New York City is not only under a curfew, where the restaurants have to be closed at 10 o'clock every night and no indoor dining. The subways are closed at 1 o'clock in the morning until I think 5 o'clock for cleaning and sanitizing. So this is truly a unique time. People are working from home, so they don't come into Manhattan to their office like they usually would do, their daily commute. They would be out for lunchtime for an hour. They would be out after work doing things, shopping, meeting people, going out to eat, stuff like that. But all of that is on pause during this crazy time of COVID-19 lockdown. So hopefully it won't last too long, but we wanted to show how calm the city is, and it's much quieter than usual. It's much cleaner than usual. There's a lot less people here than usual. So everyone, I guess, is staying in their own neighborhood where they live. So everyone is going to school remotely, on Zoom and all this. So now we made it to First Avenue. There's the bus, the bendy bus. And you could see down the avenues, that is now facing south where you look. It's always nice to look down the avenues because you could see straight through Manhattan because of this very straight grid system that they came up with years ago. Most people like it, some people don't. That's the bike lane. When it's green, it's for bicycles. And there's turn lanes now, there's bicycle lanes, there's bus lanes. It's very difficult for drivers to make deliveries to stores, where it's very difficult, no parking. So the speed limit's very slow, 25 miles an hour. So there's a lot of changes here in New York besides the obvious coronavirus lockdown. So here's some restaurants. Nothing is really open. You have to kind of eat on the street. I guess they're not even open. So very difficult for the restaurants. All right, so now we're walking between 1st and 2nd Avenue. We're walking west towards the west side, but we're on the east side still. We're going to be on the east side most of the time. Here we have the parked cars. A lot of the cars sit here when it snows because the street cleaners don't come through. They don't have to move their car. Usually you have to move your car twice a week. sort of a gimmick to get your car off the street. They say they're going to clean the street, but they do clean it. Okay, so these are a lot of townhouses area. This is a whole residential area where people live, and then a lot of them have a very short commute to their job. That's why they live here. They walk a couple of blocks to their job in Midtown Manhattan. That's where we're in. So this is the 50s. It's very upscale, the 50s, and very popular because it has that mix of residential on the east side, and you walk a couple of avenues, and then it's all corporate and commercial, especially when you get close to Madison Avenue and Fifth Avenue and beyond. So you could see there was about 10 inches of snow, and it's about 32 degrees today, so it's not going to melt. So it's going to hang around for a couple of days, and then that's usually how long it stays, and then it gets it all melts or gets pushed away. Shovel it away, all the snow. Alright, so we're walking on these beautiful blocks. If you're lucky enough to live on a block like this, it's very quiet, very safe, peaceful, and you have all the conveniences of this central locality where all transportation, roadways, highways, everything sort of leads and points to this direction. So it's very convenient. That's why people like it. Okay, so we're walking. You could see that there is some leaves still on the trees because it was just fall. This is now the first days of winter. So this is a little bit early for us to get snow, but it's not that unusual to get some snow accumulating before the holiday season. So it's very pretty. Everyone likes it. Most people like it. You know, people do get nervous that they're going to slip or fall, the older people, but the young people like it. Most of them. Okay, so here we are, getting close to the next avenue. You could see that the blocks are a lot longer. Much longer than the avenues, which are much shorter. Block to block, street to street, much shorter on the avenue than they are on the streets. So this is 51st Street. So odd number streets usually run west, even numbered streets in Midtown run east. But we're still east at the avenues, and you can see that the traffic is pretty normal for today. There's a nice amount of people here today, even though, like I said in the other video, part 2, it's a Saturday afternoon. This is around 1 o'clock. So typically that is a quiet time for Manhattan, Saturday afternoon. Most people are not at work, and they're home running errands, buying things, getting ready to have fun for the weekend, Saturday night. Here's one of these street enclosures where the restaurants have to build these temporary structures to serve people outdoors on the street. So it's very difficult for the waiters. Very nice. Beautiful place.
How are you?
Seems very friendly. And this is the only way they could stay open because there's no indoor dining. So the waiters have to bring the food from the restaurant, through the restaurant, out onto the street, across the sidewalk, and serve people where cars would usually be parked. Sometimes there's even a bus lane or something in the way, a bike lane where you have to walk through that. Sometimes it could get a little dangerous walking through bike lanes because they drive the maximum speed, high speed, fastest speed possible, and you could get hit by a bicyclist if you're not careful. So Then we have, okay, the snow as you get closer to the center is sort of less and less snow because everyone shovels. I think everyone, it's mandatory, they have to shovel. Everyone has to shovel or they could get a fine. So if you own a property, a store in Manhattan, and you don't come into work because it's snowing, well, then you could get a fine if you don't pay someone to shovel the snow. See, these are more of these enclosures. Now that we're going cross town on the side street, you get to see the restaurants. They run electricity from the restaurant to this sidewalk enclosure. Sometimes there's heaters, but they're like indoor heaters. They look nice, but they don't really do too much when it's this cold out. So a lot of people don't go out dining unless the weather is nice. In Queens, they have the restaurants with the heat ducts coming off the roof of the restaurant onto the heat enclosure. And then of course there's the propane gas heaters that are much better than the electric ones, but it gives you a warmer feeling to see a heater in there, and it could encourage people to come in, even though you have to keep your coat on. But we're used to it. I mean, I'm out all day walking around for hours and hours, and with this COVID-19 lockdown, there's not that many places you could go into, or sometimes you don't feel comfortable going into some of these places because of the COVID-19. So you could see that the sidewalks are definitely less crowded because of this lockdown period. But the construction people could keep working. They have more space to do their work. So it's a little easier for the construction people to do their work during the lockdown. So here now you can see the temperature, 32 degrees and the time of day. December, week before Christmas. So now we're getting towards and you can see the cars have been sitting here for a couple of days. It snowed a couple of days ago. They don't have to move their car because of the snow. So you get a parking spot and you have to have a shovel. You have to shovel your car out. If you don't have an SUV, it could be slippery to get around, could be dangerous. So here's another look south down the avenue towards Lower Manhattan from view of Midtown with all the tall buildings. The 50s do have a lot of very tall buildings. A lot of buildings go to 50 stories. That is sort of a height, an average height of high buildings that they say if you go over 50 stories, it's all ego. You don't really make that much money and those extra floors because of the extra expense in building such a high building. But of course people want it. No, this is Lexington Avenue. Okay, so now this is Lexington Avenue, 51st Street. That was 3rd Avenue before. So Lexington Avenue, and then Park Avenue is after Lexington. Yep, so during this unusual time, it is very quiet here in Manhattan. The buses are empty. They were free for a while at the beginning part of the pandemic. Now you have to pay for the buses, but they're very clean and empty, and traffic is this is light, believe it or not. There's so many cars usually in Manhattan, it's crazy. So here we are, Lexington Avenue, looking south, and we have the Chrysler Building in the background. That would be 42nd Street, where you can see the Chrysler Building, one with the stainless steel top. And now we have a lot of these sidewalk enclosures. Anytime someone is doing any kind of work in in the building where something could fall off the building, fall off the roof, fall out of a window. You have to put up the sidewalk protection. So a lot of time, and it stays up for months, sometimes for years. And this is a fancier one with the white arches, and this one looks much nicer. It's probably much more expensive than the regular one. And here we are getting closer. This is the subway station. Of course, there's all subways. The Lexington Avenue line is the 456. Subways could get you anywhere you want in Manhattan, and it's much quicker because there's no traffic, and there's express trains that you can get through Manhattan very, very quickly with the express train, get to downtown. And mostly downtown, uptown, there's not too many subways that go across town, just a couple on the main streets, but mostly it's for commuting from the outer boroughs into Manhattan. Then once you're in Manhattan, most people walk because it goes pretty quickly and you know how long it's going to take you, and people in New York could possibly walk several miles in one day. Me personally, I definitely, on my day off, I go out all day. I spend the whole day outside, and I could walk up to 10, 12 miles in a day. So you walk a lot and you sleep well because you're tired. So here we are, people are out. Like I said, everyone's in their neighborhood. So you see a lot of dogs because everyone is working from home. They come out to walk their dog, they go back in. So that's why it's quiet, and we are not used to this quietness that no one is coming into work. We're used to all the commuters, we're used to all the tourists, and there's none around. There's just us local people hanging around on our neighborhood. And if you don't want to, if you're a little nervous about getting on the subway, then you don't even want to go visit your friends too far away where you can't walk. So that is, some people don't care, some people don't believe in the virus or don't want to take it seriously, other people do. So it's a little bit strange how there could be a worldwide pandemic and a lot of people that I know don't take it seriously. They don't wear a mask when they go outside. I don't know why. They only wear the mask where people make them wear it, or they won't let them go in a store without a mask, and then they'll reluctantly put the mask on to go into a store, and then they visit people and they don't want to wear a mask, and they don't even want to take the test. So I don't know how some people are so careful. They take the test, they wear the mask, they're going to get the vaccine. Other people, they don't wear the mask, they think it's a hoax. They're politicizing. A lot of people are politicizing the coronavirus pandemic. I guess we all do, sort of. We're either trying to follow the rules and trying to do the right thing, or doing whatever you feel like doing. Like I was invited over to my friend's house for Christmas, so I decided to get a coronavirus test. So I went to a very popular place, one of these walk-in medical emergency units, First Med or whatever they are called, and we had to wait. Luckily I went with my friend who was nice enough to get a COVID test to come and visit me, and we both went together. 2.5 hours we waited online outside, but we did have fun, because it's fun to be with your friends, and because you miss your family and your friends, and when you could be with a friend or a person, a neighbor, you do enjoy it and you stay a little bit longer. We go for outdoor dining, we stay for hours, and because what are you going to do? Go back home where you're bored? unless you have to go home and go to work. Alright, here we are walking towards, we're getting closer and closer. It gets more and more exclusive and expensive as you get closer, of course, to 5th Avenue. This is the hotel, it used to be called Hemsley Hotel. It used to be called the Hemsley Palace. Now I think they just call it the Palace on Madison Avenue and 51st Street. And we'll wind up at Rockefeller Center, and we'll take a look at the tree at Rockefeller Center, St. Patrick's Cathedral. There you can see the first glimpse of St. Patrick's Cathedral Rectory on the corner, the back of it on Madison Avenue, 51st Street. So it goes from 51st to 50th, from Madison Avenue to 5th Avenue. It has the whole square block. But the block between Madison and 5th, it's smaller than the block between 5th and 6th. So they're not all the same size. So if you're on the west side of the street, it's much longer on 5th Avenue than it is on the east side. So here we are on Madison Avenue, St. Patrick's Cathedral. Of course, it's really like a tourist attraction. It's not like a typical church, even though, of course, they have mass, confession, and all that stuff. But it becomes a tourist attraction where people come in just to look at the beautiful artwork inside, or to come in, say a prayer. Everyone is welcome, and as long as you're quiet. So here's the street vendors. These guys have to bring these street carts in by a van or a truck, and then they have to unhook them, put them on the sidewalk, and they stay out all day. I don't know where they go to the bathroom. They have to go inside the building and leave the cart empty for a while and go to use a bathroom or something, but they're stuck out there all day. It doesn't matter what the weather is. Sometimes if it goes below freezing, then some of these street vendors, the fruit vendors, they have to go close up because the fruit will freeze. Frozen fruit. This is the beautiful side of St. Patrick's. There was also just a renovation done, $186 million renovation on St. Patrick's Cathedral. It took many years. It was all scaffolding, especially on the inside for a long time. They repainted and cleaned everything and restored, of course, whatever needed to be restored. So it should be good for another 100 years without too much renovation. So here we are. This is the Olympic Tower on the right, 5th Avenue Tower, and all the expensive condominiums are in there. A lot of famous people might live there. Usually the east side of Manhattan shuns famous people, rock stars, on the Upper East Side because it's more exclusive, and then on the Upper West Side is more open-minded to popular people like celebrities, rock stars, where it could be inconvenient to live in a building with a rock star, politician, or celebrity TV star because it gets old fast. You don't want to have people hanging around the front of your building waiting for this movie star to come out. So usually, I know my building, they don't care to have any celebrities live in the building. We did have a couple of celebrities. We had Charlton Heston years ago in the penthouse, but years ago the rules, they didn't care, but now they don't really like the attention of a celebrity living in the building. People follow them home, whatever, they wait outside. So a lot of the east side do not allow it, but you can go to the west side. Or of course downtown to the village where most of the celebrities live downtown, Tribeca, that kind of an area. But 5th Avenue is very commercial and it's not residential. This part of 5th Avenue in Midtown. So above the 30s, 20s, and the 30s, it turns into mostly it was for very famous department stores. Of course, but one block away is that's Fifth Avenue, and you had all these big department stores on Fifth Avenue, and they're going a little bit out of style now, where some of them have closed, Watertown have closed, and they're having a hard time. But replacing them is individual designers open up their own store. So they have their own store. You could go to Calvin Klein and all that. They have their own stores on Madison Avenue. They have their own stores on Fifth Avenue. They have their own stores downtown. A big designer could put up several stores in Manhattan in different neighborhoods. This is, of course, St. Patrick's Cathedral. Let's take a look inside. This is the new style to put a glass door, so you could leave the big doors open so it's more inviting and people could see inside, and then could come in if they see, oh, it looks so beautiful, let me go in and put $1 in. Right now, here is Rockefeller Center. Let's open it. And here is Fifth Avenue. I always loved it when they put the flags outside buildings. It always looks nice. A lot of buildings, corporate and residential buildings, do put the American flag out front near the front door. My building doesn't, a lot of buildings do. And so, of course, the hotels, when someone is staying from another country, they can put their hotel, they can put their flag up on the hotel.
Yeah,
Make them feel
but then definitely,
comfortable.
no, it wouldn't be now.
Okay, so here we are walking. Now we made a turn. We walked across 51st Street, and then we made a turn to go down Fifth Avenue only for 1 block. Now we're crossing 50th Street in the same direction, west. Now we're in the very center of Manhattan. So on the left side would be the east side, on the right side of the street would be the west side. And then the numbers and the way very easy, like I said, to find yourself would be 1 West 50th Street now on the west side of the street. Okay, now we might as well take a walk to look at the tree at Rockefeller Center, since this is Christmas time, and we have beautiful snow on the ground, very festive and very interesting and unique time when it's Christmas, and the snow on the ground and COVID lockdown, so it's a very unusual time where everyone has to wear these masks. So you could see, if you wanted to do a survey, you would see that most people do wear the mask unless they are eating, which New Yorkers do eat as they walk down the street. They grab a slice of pizza or a bagel and they eat it while they walk. They're always drinking coffee when they walk down the street. There's the tree. That's the Rockefeller Center Christmas tree lit up with the lights, and those are the traditional angels. I think they're made out of like a basket, like a basket weaving thing, like a rattan or something, I don't know. And you have all the beautiful angels down the way leading you towards the tree, and then of course you have the light show on Fifth Avenue, Saks Fifth Avenue at night. Mostly it looks better. I think they have it, I'm not sure about during the day. They probably have it during the day. Also the light show to bring people, I guess, away from the tree and draw them towards the department store where they enjoy the light show and hopefully go in and buy something. But I did notice that there's not too many people in the department stores, so they're outside watching the show. A lot of people, but because of a lot of people are out of work now because of the lockdown and everything, the whole world, because of the pandemic. So people are out of work, and even if they are working, a lot of people they're afraid to spend money because they don't know. Their future seems to be not very secure in the time being. So hopefully we will get over that. So we walked halfway across Manhattan, and we're going to sort of end it here soon, because you can click on the other one is part 2, and you can continue to walk up Fifth Avenue towards Central Park and into Central Park. The next one I'll label it part 2. So I hope you enjoy these walks. I certainly enjoy walking, and I love, that's the best thing to do in Manhattan, is to just walk down the street, people watch. And so I hope you enjoyed this video. Make sure you like and subscribe and hit the bell notification on the YouTube channel so they can monetize me again. They are not monetizing me, but that's okay. So here's the guys on the street, the Salvation Army. They have a tradition of dancing. So like I said, I hope you enjoyed it. Stay tuned for the next video. I'll see you in the next video. Ciao.